Sarah. Baby. Don't do this to me, baby. Don't do this to me, baby. Come on. No. No. No, no. Please. Please don't. Please.
Looking back over the past decade, you may have noticed a considerable effort in the video game industry to produce content that offers more to the player. More things to do, more ways to do said things, more detail, visually and technically, more characters, and more story.
I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different. I chose the impossible. I chose rapture.
There is no longer an assumption that the player will simply be content with just running and gunning or delivering a package from A to B. There needs to be purpose behind an action to entice curiosity.
Run.
I am lightning. The rain transformed.
As with anything in its infancy, storytelling in video games has dragged and crawled itself into existence. Games that initially tried to create stories which tied into their setting and characters stumbled through plot holes and misdirected and mostly expected twists. There was one thing, however, that would constantly hold back the true impact of many a good video game story: visual fidelity. But amongst all of the drivel stood a small number of creators and titles that were the catalysts of the revolution, which we're in the center of today.
I don't really have an option here. But I need back in it. So can I count on you?
All right, kid. Let's go do it. One last time.
Things began to change aggressively, fueled by massive budgets which competed with and often exceeded those of Hollywood's biggest films. The popularity of video games soared, and with the power of marketing, sales of consoles and games alike skyrocketed into what is now a $1 trillion industry. Film is in many ways the pinnacle of creating visual character identity. The written word allows you to create your own image of characters, whereas video games, in some way, combine elements of these two by giving you limited, imaginative control in an already established setting. This is where technology began to shape the industry. The Last of Us by a studio named Naughty Dog was the first time that I've experienced a truly emotional reaction similar to what I've experienced in film, in a video game. You're taken on a journey through a post-apocalyptic world and given control over two unconventional characters who are forced to work together by circumstance. As ordinary a plot as that may sound, it's the fictional nuance, ebb and flow, immense attention to detail, and phenomenal motion captured acting that pushes it leagues ahead of what the competition was doing at the time.
Not her, you know.
What?
Maria told me about Sarah.
Ellie?
And
You are treading on some mighty thin ice here.
I'm sorry about your daughter, Joel. But I have lost people too.
You have no idea what loss is.
Everyone I have cared for has either died or left me. Everyone fucking except for you. So don't tell me that I would be safer with someone else, because the truth is I would just be more scared.
You're right. You're not my daughter. And I sure as hell ain't your dad.
The game was critically acclaimed worldwide and has, in my opinion, changed the industry for the better. Many consumers have now come to expect a certain standard and quality of storytelling in video games. The latest showing of games at this year's E3 Expo is testament to how game developers are recognizing the importance of storytelling in video games. Games like Detroit Become Human and Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding don't look to bridge the gap between film and games, they look to build a bridge over film. Looking at the trailer for Death Stranding, besides the fact that Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead is the main character, there's a whole lot of string meaning and intrigue that leads your mind to various uncertain assumptions. The idea of a mass of life stranded and dead on a beach, oil-laden handprints, a set of futuristic handcuffs, all perhaps hints at a dystopian world where we've destroyed Earth by way of pollution. There's also the baby connected to Norman's character by some sort of artificial umbilical cord, symbolizing a kind of undeveloped infant link to this character. The end of the trailer shows a number of otherworldly beings hovering in the distant sky. Time travelers or an advanced alien race. Maybe even androids created by us that have decided to be the antibiotic to the human bacterial infection of the planet. These are themes that are usually only explored in depth by filmmakers. But Hideo Kojima, a creative genius in many eyes, is tackling them in a way never seen before. Many were even left confused by the trailer, questioning whether this is even a game. In my opinion, that's the direction that games need to start going, to create intrigue, to try different things in a medium that has been overpopulated by the expected. All of this is not to say that there isn't place and space for games that don't focus on story and rather enhance playability and fun. But one can't argue that perhaps one day, instead of heading to the movie theater to see the latest Spider-Man, we may just be at home with our VR headsets on, being the latest Spider-Man.